Hello and welcome to the OneChart Referral Management Module video number 2, Managing an Originating List, Sending Referral to a Specialist. If you've not yet reviewed video number 1, please stop and do so now. It will make this video much easier to understand. Once a referral order has been placed, it is directly moved to the referral management list. We demonstrate in the first video how to set up a list. The list that I have displayed I've set up previously, and it is an originating list for the West 21st Reflection Ridge Family Medicine facility. If my job in the clinic is to schedule appointments with specialists for those referrals and send information to the specialist, this is the list where I'm going to go to get that information and to do that work. I'll no longer need to go to the patient's activities and interventions or the multi-patient task list to find referrals, physician-to-physician referrals. You'll notice when you look at this list that it's pretty long. These are a lot of referrals that we've been doing during testing, but I can easily filter this list. There's a filter, a status filter. I can click on it, and then if I want to look at only the referrals that have not yet been started, I can select that and apply, and my list becomes a little bit shorter. Remember, I also have the opportunity when I build my list to build a filter into the list, and refer to the first video if you need to review that. Again, if it's my job to make sure this referral happens, make sure the appointment gets scheduled, make sure information gets sent to the specialist, I'm going to look at this list. I can see here the ones that have been sent as high priority. These are all not yet started. So I'm going to start with the first one that's high priority. If I can see here the patient information, insurance, who they were referred by and when, who they're being, what department, the specialty and the reason, and then the specific provider. Remember that 1 means that this is a tier 1, this is a Via Christi Clinic provider that they're being referred to. At this point, if I want to open the chart, I can click on the patient's name, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the referral. So I'm going to click on this little arrow, and then it's opened. If I work in a department where there are multiple people maybe working on these referrals, I can assign it to myself. So I'm going to click Assign to Me. That you don't have to assign the referral to yourself. If you're a one-person show and you're going to be doing all your referrals, it's not really part of the process. But what it's going to do when you go back to your list, there's actually a place where you can say filter just my referrals. So then that would shorten up your list. You'd only see the ones that were referred to you, that were assigned to you. But the first step in creating my referral is to click Start Referral. Notice the status has changed from not yet started to prep to send. This process is going to take the place of, on our internal referrals, when we're referring from a physician in Via Christi Clinic to another physician in Via Christi Clinic, where we're going to Message Center and sending those to pools. The referral management module is going to do that for us. Again, remember, this is just physician-to-physician referrals. And this referral that I'm working on right now is an internal referral because we're sending that patient to Via Christi Clinic Dermatology, and so we'll do an example of one outside later. So I'm going to look through these tabs. This is a summary. Here's the information that was put in on the order. If I need to make any changes or add anything, I can click Edit, and that's going to open those fields, and so I could make changes or additions if I needed to. Comments. If I want to put a comment in here, if there's additional information that they need to know, I can add that here. Maybe patient was seen last year. Not sure that's something you would always need to, but you can put anything in there, and I'm going to save that, and we'll see later where we can see that information. Documents. When we're sending someone from a Via Christi Clinic physician to another Via Christi Clinic physician, they're going to have access to OneChart. But what you can do is you can add documents. So if I'm adding, I can add a document. Basically, I'm looking through the chart and I can find documents that need to be sent. Currently, Cerner does not support sending scanned images. So if there are scanned documents that need to be sent, those are going to have to be sent separately, either printed out and faxed or whatever method you use today. That it doesn't support that currently, but that is a future functionality. When I click to insurance, I want to be sure that I associate an insurance with this referral. So if the patient had not only Aetna, if they also had a motor vehicle accident, or if they had work comp, I would associate that. I can also, once I've associated the insurance, I can edit, and then I can enter an authorization number. If I have the authorization number, because if the insurance requires it, I can put that in here. I can do an authorization type, status. I can put in the number of visits that are authorized. The system does not decrement those, so we're still going to have to keep track of how many visits they've had in whatever method we're doing now. We can put the begin date. This is only if we have this information. We can enter it, contact name and contact phone number. Once I've added any information that I need to, I'm going to click the Generate button. The system is going to compile a transition of care document. When I click Send, the system has automatically sent that referral and the information to Dr. Capper's office. And in the third video, we're going to see from the receiving provider's location how they handle that. For our purposes here today, we're assuming we're the people who are sending, and so we're gonna stop there with that example. When I come back to my list, notice that the status on this referral has changed to pending acceptance. So since it's sent to Dr. Capper's office, and again we're going to see this in video number 3, Dr. Capper's office will accept that referral and then make the appointment. For my next example, we're going to look at the second referral on my list, and that's to nephrology. If you'll remember from video 1, we put in the order for the nephrologist and found that we didn't have any nephrologists within Via Christi Clinic, so we were going to be sending to a Tier 2 provider. This provider does not have one-chart access, so the referral will be just slightly different. But I start this one pretty much the same. I do start referral, make any changes to the summary, additions maybe that need to be added, enter comments, select documents. This time, since we know we're going to send this outside of OneChart, the provider that we're sending to will not have OneChart access. There might be more documents that we want to send, maybe the last office visit, maybe some other referral information, but the system is going to be sending these to that provider, so we want to be sure that we select those. Again, we're going to attach our insurance, so we're going to click Insurance and Associate. We're going to say this time their insurance does not require any kind of an authorization, so we're not going to worry about that. But this time when we click Generate, once the system has compiled the continuity of care document, when we click Send, the system will automatically pop up with a provider letter. Notice here are the 2 documents that I attached earlier, and plus the continuity of care document. That document gives information like the patient's insurance, their med list, their allergies, all of those kinds of things. So the system automatically did that for us, and then it's going to start a letter. Talking about referring the provider to their office. Here's the details from the referral, and again here's some more of their insurance information. At this time I could add results. If the patient had lab results, I could click results and I could add those. I could also type on this letter. If there was additional information, I could type things, just write directly onto the letter. I can preview if I want, but when I'm ready to send this referral, I can click the OK button. Before I do that, I'm going to pick up the phone and call that office just like I do today. So whatever method you use for contacting that office, you're going to use that when we're using the referral management tool. All this is doing is the communication as far as sending the patient's records. we know we've talked to some offices where the specialty office has a form for you to fill out. So if you have a form that you have to fill out today, paper, and you fax it, you're still going to do that. This is not going to take away that communication just yet. Hopefully someday we'll all be connected, but right now this is just the method of getting that information to, in this case, Dr. Reed's office. So when I'm ready, I'm going to click the OK button, and this will be sent directly via fax through Cerner or through direct messaging if that's set up for this provider. Notice that the status on this referral has changed to sent. That tells me that that was sent outside the system. It's a little bit different than when we send it internally. Before, when I had it said pending acceptance, now this one is going to say sent. So I can tell, here are the two that I've done so far. One says pending acceptance. I know that that means it was sent internally, and I can see the provider's name right here also. But the status of sent means that I've sent it outside. I'm not going to automatically get that feedback once they make that appointment, that like I will when I have one that's within the clinic. This one eventually, and we'll see this in video 3, this will, once the appointment's been made, it'll change to scheduled. This one's going to stay sent until I make a change. If I get that information back from that outside provider, I can update the status and I can put in that date. I can actually put in scheduled, and I can enter the date and time of the appointment if I get that information. It's not, we know sometimes you will, sometimes you won't, but you do have the ability to make that. So if we have that scheduled for the 30th at 2 o'clock, then we can submit that, and that will be part of the record. And it'll update, it'll show it's scheduled on my list, scheduled in the date and time. This is the date that I put in. That's the only way that's going to get there. The referrals stay on this list permanently, but by the use of filtering the status, you're going to be able to shorten your list. So just like we did earlier, if I change this all to not started, or maybe I just want to see the ones that I've sent, then that's going to change my list. That's why filters will be very important as we set those up when we start. Thank you for listening to the second video. If you are working in an office where you are going to be accepting referrals, generally a specialty office where you're going to be having those referrals come in and making those appointments, please be sure to watch video number 3.